Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up. And make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and for today's installment of our Beyond Omega level series, which we haven't done in a little while, we are once again going to head over to Marvel's Ultimate Universe and discuss a character that was actually far more powerful in the Ultimate Universe than in the main Marvel Universe. This version of Loki was created by Mark Millar and Brian Hitch, and first appeared in Ultimates 2 #1 in 2015. Now, while the main universe version of Loki is the adopted son of Odin, in the Ultimate Universe, Loki is actually Odin's biological son. Loki's mother is the frost giant Farbati, and he was born as part of an attempted peace negotiation between Asgard and Jotunheim, the home of the frost giants, which had actually been at war with one another for 1,000 years. The war raged on, however, with Loki fighting for Asgard along with his brothers Thor and Balder, who together made up the Warriors 3. Now, after Asgard won the war, Loki would turn on them after his mother, who was being held captive by Odin, asked Loki to retrieve the Norn Stones for her. Now, the Norn Stones were 24 stones made of the same material as Mjolnir and were avatars of Odin's power. When assembled in the proper order, they could open dimensional gateways between realms, and Loki agrees to retrieve the stones, and in doing so is confronted by and kills his half-brother Balder. Now, following the murder of his brother, Loki's banished from Asgard and ends up on Earth, disguised as a supervillain, Baron Zemo. Loki then led a coalition of frost giants and Germans in an attack on Asgard, killing Heimdall in the process. But a combination of Heimdall's blood, which his soldiers consumed, and the Norn Stones greatly bolstered the strength of Loki's forces, but he was ultimately defeated by Odin, who banished him to a prison realm known as the Room Without Doors. And so Loki remained in the Room Without Doors for 60 years, but would eventually escape when one of his soldiers, Helmut Zemo, used the power of the Norn Stones to open a gateway into the room, which freed Loki. Now, Loki would continue to antagonize his brother Thor and the Ultimates, the Ultimate Universe's version of the Avengers, and tried to bring about World War III along with the Liberators, a team of supervillains sponsored by several world governments. And so after the Ultimates defeated the Liberators, Loki tried to carry on the mission of destroying the Ultimates himself, and in doing so, summoned an army of monsters from Asgard, but his plans were thwarted by Odin, who sent Asgardian warriors to repel the attack and also stripped Loki of most of his powers. Loki was then imprisoned by Odin once more, but after he escaped, he was sent to Hel by Hela. Now, somehow, Loki either escapes or is freed from Hel, but he dies in a siege of Asgard by the Children of Tomorrow, a group of superpowered soldiers led by the Maker, the Ultimate Universe's version of Reed Richards. And so not only does Ultimate Loki's origin differ significantly from the classic version, but his powers do as well. Although Ultimate Loki is a devious trickster in much the same way that his 616 counterpart is, his power set is far beyond anything that the main Marvel Universe Loki could ever hope to achieve. Ultimate Loki possesses superhuman strength and has been able to harm his brother Thor in a sparring session, where he also proved himself to be a capable fighter. He's skilled in a variety of weapons, but his weapon of choice is a bow and arrow, which he uses to slay multiple frost giants, Heimdall and Balder. Loki also possesses superhuman speed and durability, and just to get a sense of how durable he is, he survived beatings from Thor as well as surviving Thor's lightning attacks. But what really sets Loki apart from the version that we're probably more familiar with is his reality warping ability. This is described as an ability to shuffle time and space, but in effect, it's basically just reality warping. For instance, on one occasion, Thor's in a restaurant talking to Volstagg about Loki, who Thor dismisses as not being a major threat because every time they battle, Thor always wins. Now, Volstagg tells Thor that this time is different and that Loki is moving the scenery around them and rewriting reality itself. Moments later, a waiter comes up to Thor and says that the restaurant's other patrons are concerned because Thor's been talking to himself for 5 minutes. Thor's then taken aback and looks up to see that Volstagg is no longer at the table, and the waiter confirms that he was never there at all. And so soon after this, Loki creates a new persona for himself, taking the form of Gunnar Goldman, who claims to be part of the Norwegian super soldier program, and furthermore claims that Thor is not the god he claims to be, but a product of that super soldier program. This, of course, was a ruse designed to convince the Ultimates that Thor is insane and turn them against him. But despite Thor's insistence that Loki is responsible for his ruse by shuffling time and space, the Ultimates indeed begin to question his sanity. On another occasion, Loki uses his reality warping abilities to alter security tape footage to make it appear that Captain America is responsible for the murder of Hawkeye's family, when in reality, it was Black Widow who killed them. Now, Loki's also able to bestow powers on others, as he did with Valkyrie and the rest of the Ultimate Defenders, who in turn pledged their allegiance to Loki. Loki's capable of size manipulation of himself and others, being able to either shrink to tiny proportions or grow to massive impressive ones. He can also create multiple copies of himself, shapeshift, and claims that he can alter the color of the sun and the sky. He can teleport to anywhere he wants and has displayed the ability to summon various mythical creatures such as serpents, giants, trolls, and giant wolves. There are limitations to Loki's power though, as using them alerts Odin to his presence, which Loki tries to avoid at all costs, as Odin is capable of removing his powers from him. Now, it's also been suggested that Loki's powers are rooted in sorcery instead of outright reality warping, as his power has been shown to grow and diminish at various points, and so he has been written somewhat inconsistently. And of course, anytime he tangles with Thor, he usually loses despite his reality warping ability, because that's just how things work when you fight Thor more often than not. But still, Ultimate Loki has displayed some incredibly impressive feats and is vastly more powerful than the 616 version, even counting the time that Loki briefly became the Sorcerer Supreme. But even still, it's kind of surprising that Loki didn't do more with his powers than he did, because you would think he'd do some crazy stuff, or at least get a few more victories than he did, as most of his plans ultimately ended up in failure. But that's the plight of supervillains. They're always just being thwarted by the good guys. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. If you guys are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.